best place to start a tour of the city center of Phnom Penh, also known as Daun Phnom, is the area around the Independence Monument, the lotus bud-shaped stupa, built in 1958 to celebrate Cambodia's independence, which took place 5 years before. The gardens next to the Independence Monument mark the southern border of the Daun Phnom district, and my plan is to move northwards, all the way to the Wat Nam Daun Phnom Temple at the other extreme, and show you the landmarks located in between. What you see there is the area south of the Independence Monument Gardens known as BKK1. It's the most affluent neighborhood of Phnom Penh. That area is especially loved by the expats, and many NGOs are headquartered there. The Sihanouk Memorial is a monument commemorating former King Sihanouk, and it was built in 2013. It's a 4.5-meter tall bronze statue housed under a 27-meter high stupa. It was built in the very middle of the park. The statue alone cost more than $1 million. Many embassies are located in the vicinity. At the end of the park, you can see the 2 casino hotels Naga World and Naga World 2, owned by the Chinese. As we head north, we bump into another beautiful park named Wat Bodum Park. It's called like that because of the Wat Bodum Pagoda on its western side. The flower beds here are gorgeous. Kudos to the gardeners. The park is dominated by yet another monument. It's the Cambodia-Viernam Friendship Monument. It was built in 1979 by the communist regime that took power after the Cambodian-Vietnamese War. That war overthrew the Democratic Kampuchea regime led by Pol Pot and ended one of the worst genocides of the 20th century. This is the Wat Bodum Pagoda, which gives the name to the park. On the northeastern corner of the park, we find the building that houses the Supreme Court of Cambodia. Here, the trials against the surviving members of the Khmer Rouge government were also held. We have now reached the outer walls of the royal palace. The Royal Palace of Phnom Penh was built in the 1860s, during the reign of King Norodom. It serves as the royal residence of the King of Cambodia, and it showcases a blend of traditional Khmer and French colonial architecture. Key features include the Silver Pagoda and the Chakri Narine Palace, used for official ceremonies. The gardens enhance the palace's grandeur and provide a picturesque setting. Visitors can explore parts of the complex to learn about the history and traditions of the Cambodian monarchy, making it one of the most popular cultural destinations in the capital. The esplanade in front of the royal palace is one of the main gathering points for local people, especially in the evening. Tomorrow, the 20th anniversary of the coronation of King Sihamoni will be celebrated. The whole front of the palace has been beautifully decorated. In the decorations, blue and red dominate because they are the national colors of Cambodia. This enclosed area next to the palace is known as Veal Priya Miru. It is the place where deceased kings and other members of the royal family are cremated. Past the royal palace, we find the National Museum of Cambodia, which I have covered extensively in another video. It is Cambodia's largest museum of cultural history and is the country's leading historical and archaeological museum. You can't leave Phnom Penh without visiting it. Having left the National Museum behind my back, I am now on Street 13, also known as King Ang Ian Street. The first street on the left is Street 172, popularly known as Restaurant Street. It's called that way because of the presence of many restaurants that mainly cater to foreign tourists and expats. If you continue to walk along Street 13, you will bump into the Candle Market, which is one of the main wet markets of Phnom Penh. All types of fresh meats, fish, fruits, and vegetable are sold here. I really love markets. The quality of the seafood and vegetables that are sold at Cambodian wet markets is outstanding. They really have a different flavor. I really suggest to buy your food at wet markets if you happen to have a kitchen. Prices are lower also. Once we have passed the candle market, we find ourselves in the nightlife district of Phnom Penh. What you see here is Street 136, known for its girly bars, which at this time of the day are closed, of course. In this area of Phnom Penh, closer to the Riverside, we hardly find any high-rise building. They have very wisely decided to keep the old French colonial buildings, this way preserving its charm. Here we see instead the old market, which is now a very small market selling fruit and flour on the outside and clothing in the inside area. The Central Post Office is an historic building established in 1895 during the French colonial period. It was designed by architect Daniel Faber. It serves as the head office of the Cambodian postal system. The building features neoclassical architecture with elements such as Roman arch windows, Corinthian columns, and sculpted decorations. We have now reached the Wat Nam Temple, which marks the northern end of the Daun Phnom district. Wat Nam stands on a hill 27 meters high and is the tallest religious structure in the city. According to legend, the temple was founded in 1373 by a wealthy widow named Pen, who discovered 4 statues of Buddha washed ashore. To honor this discovery, she built a small shrine on the hill, which gradually developed into the temple complex seen today. Wat Nam is not only a place of worship, it serves as a cultural and historical landmark, attracting both locals and tourists. The site features beautiful architecture, intricate carvings, and serene gardens, making it a peaceful retreat in the bustling city. The first half of the temple steps are decorated, on each side, by 2 identical statues of the Naga, the mythological 7-headed snake associated with protection from evil. On the second half of the staircase, we can instead see that the protection role is played by 4 Chinese guardian lions and 2 human characters whose identity I ignore. This is a bronze carving of the Asparas dancing. Asparas are celestial creatures akin to nymphs and fairies present both in Hindu and Buddhist mythology. We have now arrived at the main pagoda. The sanctuary itself was rebuilt several times in the 19th century and again in 1926. The interior has a central altar complex with a large bronze-seated Buddha surrounded by other statues, flowers, candles, and items of devotion and worship. The walls are covered with murals, especially of Jataka stories of the Buddha's earlier reincarnations before his attainment of enlightenment. There are also murals depicting stories from the Rinker, the Mare version of the Ramayana. The newer murals in the bottom tiers are somewhat balanced, traditional and modern. Behind the shrine, we find the King Pontiat Stupa, built to store the ashes of the king who moved the capital of the Mare Kingdom to Phnom Penh. A small Chinese temple has also been built near the main pagoda. It caters to the large Chinese community of Phnom Penh. Sisowath Quay is a popular waterfront promenade located along the Tonle Sap River. It is named after King Sisowath, who ruled from 1902 to 1927. The quay is known for its vibrant atmosphere, with numerous cafes, restaurants, and bars offering views of the river and the city skyline. Visitors can enjoy activities such as walking, cycling, or simply relaxing while watching the river traffic. It's a great place to experience the local culture and enjoy the beautiful river scenery. The buildings which face the Sisowath Quay are some of Phnom Penh's finest examples of French colonial architecture. This area is possibly the nicest place if you want to walk, as there are no cracks in the pavement, and it is kept clean and free of rubbish.